In a world where almost everything is shared, from birthdays, sunsets, a cup of coffee, love, smiles, and even personal struggles hidden behind filters, there's a group of people who are dangerously powerful. These invisible individuals scroll quietly, observe, but rarely or never post on social media. You might recognize someone like this, or maybe you are one of them yourself. But a question always sparks in the mind: why would someone choose to stay invisible in a world where sharing is considered a kind of advantage, or even a path to income and so-called success? Well, the simple answer is that yes, these people might just be shy or introverted. But we know that's not the whole picture. Behind this apparent explanation lies a massive iceberg of resistance against a culture obsessed with being seen. These individuals create a unique self-definition, personalities that don't rely on likes and comments from others to feel valuable. And we all somewhat agree that negative feedback often impacts us more than positive. Out of 100 positive comments, one negative comment catches your eye and may occupy your thoughts for a while. The contradiction of social media is exactly this. It was supposed to enhance human connection and increase relationships. And maybe it has increased the number of connections. But has it really deepened them? Or has it mostly pushed us apart? In a world that constantly says, "Look at me," choosing to stay invisible becomes a form of self-defined identity. These people build relationships that don't need validation, find peace in the present moment within themselves, and let their lives continue without turning into content. Today, with the help of personality psychology, we're exploring these people and their inner power, understanding why this skill makes them more successful, happier, and calmer. These kinds of people are usually not dopamine-driven. Instead, their happiness comes from serotonin, a hormone that makes you feel long-term happiness without creating addiction. In psychology, there's a concept called psychological ownership. It's the feeling that something deeply belongs to you. For example, a romantic moment, a personal achievement, or even losing a loved one. These personal experiences and memories remain like a fingerprint for each person. We've all experienced this psychological ownership in one way or another. Now, when you share your sense of value, uniqueness, and identity with others, you put it in the hands of judgment, misinterpretation, or even ridicule. Gradually, that sense of ownership and uniqueness fades, and it almost turns into public content that anyone can access. And these people understand that sharing these feelings on social media permanently diminishes a part of their existence, the part that embodies their uniqueness as a human being. Jean-Paul Sartre says, "The only way to protect yourself from self-deception is to be authentic." That means making choices that reveal your true self, both outwardly and mentally. The problem is that this environment actually steals your authenticity. Instead, it gives you the pleasure of being unique and different. But we know that authenticity is not just about being different. Interestingly, a 2020 study showed that people who post more on social media, personal posts, not work-related, tend to have weaker decision-making skills and are more likely to follow others. Today, we call them trend surfers. People who go wherever trends take them. From fashion, relationships, music, to even food choices. The study also revealed that these people show much less persistence toward long-term goals. And now it's easy to see why. So, what can be done? Likes and approval always give more dopamine. And we know that in the short term, dopamine's pleasure outweighs serotonin's. This creates a cycle, a meaningless competition, one that has no end except for more likes, more comments, and selling personal identity. A couple of years ago, this competition was mostly about gaining attention by sharing personal life or hardships. But today, it has escalated to changing clothes on camera. And personal privacy no longer exists. Social media has subtly awakened a form of anxiety in us, which psychologists call self-presentation issues, and it puts us under intense pressure. This constant awareness that you're being watched, And that you always have to present something impressive is stressful. A girl trying to be noticed for her talent or creativity, not just her body, receives only a fraction of the attention that a semi-nude influencer gets. Or a guy, working hard from dawn till dusk to provide a decent life in today's economy, gets far less attention and respect than someone who builds a perfect body with filters and supplements. Unfortunately, social media pushes us toward the idea that the more sensational or extreme you are, the more attention you get. And the good and bad news is that this has always been the case in history. Things that are sensational always attract more attention. Now, social media reflects the same reality. It can destroy our identity and sense of self-worth. Those who don't post about themselves or their loved ones are truly powerful. They understand and realize that not everyone can comprehend the hardships and experiences they've been through. When was the last time you did something meaningful and chose not to share it? When was the last time you laughed, cried, or felt something deeply yours without broadcasting it to others? This power of being invisible online, besides the emotional benefits, relates to another crucial aspect: self-awareness. Whether we like it or not, social media subtly changes our perception of ourselves, encouraging noise and performance. Yet those who remain in the shadows can see the bigger picture clearly. They think before reacting, analyze before acting, and don't accept anything blindly. Psychological studies show that people who post less on social media score higher on traits like self-control, introspection, and independence. Let's do a simple calculation. During the day, you check social media and watch hundreds of videos. On average, 20% of this content shows people flaunting their success or skills. 2 hours later, your brain doesn't remember who they were, but your mind records that someone else did something amazing today. And you? Only one example, barely. Your brain doesn't recall that it was 20 different people, each doing something extraordinary in their own context. It can't track all the names, faces, and details. This is where FOMO happens. Fear of missing out, fear of loss, fear of not being good enough. But powerful people have high media literacy. They see that most of this is for marketing, money, or gain. As soon as you stop posting, something inside changes. You create a new philosophy for yourself. You stop trying to display emotions in captions and start experiencing life for yourself again, in a way that aligns with your true nature and authenticity. Then, even if you're not on social media, you're no longer frustrated. You just understand that your true self can't be found there. Even if you showcase your work or business online, your personal identity must remain separate from digital exposure. This isn't about showing off. It's about realizing that life's value can't be captured in a couple of posts. Because, when you see how easily people can manipulate your content, you start valuing the things you can't share, like silence, greatness, and the depth of your being. For example, Daniel Day-Lewis, one of Hollywood's greatest actors, after winning his third Oscar, retired from public life. He left no accounts, no posts, no traces. He only told reporters, "I want to learn what life is like without being seen." In psychology, this relates to ego detachment, separating yourself from the need for validation. He returned to acting years later. There are many similar examples in Hollywood. Another one is Keanu Reeves, beloved by fans worldwide. He remains true to himself, and unlike Hollywood's emphasis on glamour and fantasy, he stayed independent and emphasizes in interviews that he avoids social media because not everything needs to be shared. Some things are meant to be lived, not turned into Instagram or Twitter posts. Have you ever shared something about yourself on social media and then regretted it after seeing judgments or misinterpretations? If you can, write that memory down for us, so later we can analyze it in a video. But do these people actually love isolation? In fact, it's the opposite. they want to be seen. Just not in 30-second Instagram clips. Because those brief moments lead to misinterpretations, stress, and anxiety. If you've been trapped in this cycle, you know, you're forced to over-explain yourself. In reality, not being seen allows these people to truly be themselves. They've learned that someone who only remembers you because of posts is not a real friend, it's virtual. This approach reduces the number of relationships, but the connections are deeper and higher quality. Sadly, this is rare in today's world. These individuals create relationships that don't need validation and prioritize real-life presence over constant online visibility. Which kind of person are you?